By earlier on, when you were talking about your being pushed into theatre, you just mentioned that you were about to go to Europe. Was it a sightseeing tour? What took you to Europe then?
I went to Europe because I wanted to see it. It was just a trip
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
And I had enough cash that I could spare to go moderately.
Yeah. But then later on, you did go on delegations.
Yes,
and
I
things?
went on quite a few delegations. That was much later. And that came after Andolan.
Acha, acha.
Because my first invitation was from the Soviet Russia, where I went in the delegates. And I had a wonderful time.
Yeah,
They were very kind. They showed us everything. And then I gave a bit of display of Bhaubankir pieces,
Acha.
which they appreciated very much. And I saw a great deal. I saw a great deal of Europe, which I wanted to see all along. I had heard so much about it. And then I came back. Then the next invitation came from China. So I said, my God, am I going to be taped? So it came and I went to Peking. I loved it. I went to Canton, Shanghai, Peking, went all over, mixed with those girls, laughed with them, talked with them, made signs in talking, etc. And I had a really good time.
Yeah.
But these were delegations sent by Delhi.
Yeah, yeah.
Why I should have been included in it, I don't know.
East Germany also you went.
East Germany, I went with Kamla Devi.
Acha.
Kamla Devi was with me at that
Kamla
time.
Devi Chattopadhyay.
Chattopadhyay.
Yeah.
They were opening the new opera after the war for the first time. Theatre was being opened at the first time, and I went there. And these are the three main places that I went to. During my China visit, I went all around over there. And in Germany also, I went all over Europe.
Yeah. But you also went to Italy.
I went to Italy for women's movement.
Yeah.
That was the women's year, and I was chosen as the representative.
Yeah. I mean, when you went there representing, say, the Indian woman, did you have a chance to talk to the women of the other world and tell them what Indian woman was?
There was no question. The problem was not Indian women that the conference was. It was mostly about films.
Oh, I see.
All the people there, all the women there were really mostly producers, directors, technicians who had done films and who had brought them to the exhibition practically with an idea of selling them. I think that was the idea that I gathered from all that things. And their problem at that time, they said, was that Indian women do not get any finance in their country. How is it that we get the finance? Because I had mentioned a few producers and directors. So I said, we don't have this problem of not financing Indian women. If the script is good, if it is acceptable, if it is passable or sellable, then anybody would finance it.
Yeah, yeah.
But the responsibility depends on the woman.
Yeah, yeah.
It is this bar of not pushing women or financing them was not there at all.
Yeah.
This point I made very clear with them.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't speak much about anything because the political upheaval this side in India was great. And I didn't want to get into that, about which I know just very little.
Yeah. Now, this is a question, since we're chatting, that comes to my mind, because we all the time are comparing things as they were and as they are now in the film industry, and generally speaking also. Now, as you know, film journalism is become quite obtrusive and has deprived the film people of whatever privacy they have. Did it really exist then, or is it a new thing that's come up?
It is a thing that was really hardly noticeable. Because firstly, films were not very much in prominence. There were no system of stars at that time who were appearing in the public or doing anything for the public, or there were any shows that could bring them out. That was the second thing. Thirdly, as far as I'm concerned, a woman of 35 has no yellow journalism around her whatsoever. So I was a person they were most disinterested in. Bai is very good, Bai is very nice, Bai is a good worker. That's where all that finished. Of course, some people did have digs at me, I won't say no. But there it ended. I didn't get into any problems. And the problems at that time, if they were personal problems. Nobody intruded on them. For instance, we knew that there were certain things in Prabha. We knew that there were certain things elsewhere. But we didn't refer to them. It is their personal life.
Yeah,
It has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
For instance, in Prabhat, I didn't even know that these people were connected in any way whatsoever.
Yeah.
No preferences were given to them.
Yeah.
They were not put into films or stars or any system like that.
Yeah.
So it was a completely subject that did not come into the circle of working of the films.
Yeah. And also, I feel it was something which you were aware of because you were in the field. It was not publicized. It was not broadcasted.
But nothing was of this type was
Yeah,
broadcasted
yeah,
at that time. Nothing I remember.
Yeah.
Of course, people said nasty things.
Yeah.
If they didn't like you, they said your work was terrible,
Yeah,
you looked
yeah.
horrible, you did
Yeah.
this, you did that.
Taken
But it's the
over.
work. It was the work, not the personal life.
Yeah,
Personal lives, of course, they were interested in.
Yeah.
We knew, as I said, we knew that things were happening all round. And there it ended. It was not a commercial proposition.
Yeah, that's
Now the excitement of knowing who is doing what and where is become more and much more in the younger generation.
Yeah.
I think. Maybe I'm wrong
Yeah.
because I'm out of everything now. And they'll say, you have no right to say anything now. You're completely out of it and you do not know a thing about it. So that is my answer.
You
to
keep
it.
on repeatedly saying that, I am now in Girard and I am in a small village and I am out of everything. But you have not referred to one very, very important thing that you've achieved during your stay in Girard and what you considered your retired life, and that is your autobiography. And that, as you know, has created a tremendous stir in Maharashtra. The Hindi translation is also totally sold out. So why not talk about that?
Well, Vijaya, when I went to Girard, there were two things. One was I missed Hareen terribly. I could not bear it. And then I thought I have no right to depress the rest of the family with my feelings.
Yeah.
I had to keep up my mind up to this stage where my family would be interested in me.
Yeah.
And I felt that it was weighing down on Bakul, my eldest son. So I thought the best thing is that I get away and get hold of my mind and just find out something that will be interesting in you. Also, I was not in any mood or any condition to take up heavy, big roles at all. So I was trying to do light roles, sometimes something that will take away my mind, because work always took my mind away from difficulties and things. So I started writing. Not only writing, just scribbling. Then, madam, you came in, took my papers one day and took them to Mr. Dalvi.
Yeah.
And the next thing I know, they wanted me to complete it. So that is how the thing really got completed.
No,
And I found, as I wrote, I found there were lots of things that I had missed enjoying. And I started enjoying them. And they all poured out there. Just as an outlet to my feelings. I had no idea that it would be published. I had no idea that it would be fairly successful as it was. I had no idea that it would give me a comfortable packet of money, which was very important in my life. And I think I did well, because all the bitterness transformed into something that happened in the course of nature.
In fact, what impressed...
Well, as I say, Vijaya, I feel whatever your depressions, you have no right to palm them off onto people who love you, who really want you, who want you to be happy. If you keep on nursing your own difficulties and your sorrows, then you automatically make everything around you a little depressed. And I don't think any human being has a right to be depressed, because when we do look around, we find the compensations are so great. For what you lose, you get tenfold. So nature does not really let you down that way. I lost Hareen, but I got somebody who took care of Hareen's children and made life meaningful for them and also for me.
But I'd like to wind it up by coming back again to the cinema part of it. And I'd like to ask you one question. And that is, what do you think is the contribution of Indian cinema to Indian culture?
Culture is a little further distance, but I think the immediate contribution that the films have given to the country is the language.
Yeah.
Person like me, who was quite educated, who was in Bombay, who moved around in society, did everything, was in the lap of luxury, everything, but I did not know Hindi.
Yeah.
I had not seen my country. I didn't know what my people were like. That portion, the film has conveyed to the ordinary man in the street. It has given the country a language a language which we call Hindi and which is now become the national language.
Yes.
And that's one thing. Secondly, it also gave a sense of music,
Yeah, that's right.
sometimes distorted, sometimes ill-given, whatever. But the sound of music, the phonetics have been given to the younger generation, and also a rhythm in their movements. If you see a kid in the street now, just dancing away for no rhyme or reason. And that is a joy of life that films have contributed to the people.
Yeah.
There are other things that have been unhappy and not contributed. But I think today, science, medicine, education, younger children's education, all this is doing a great deal of good through films.
Yeah.
It is the medium today, which I said in the beginning,
Yeah.
that in the Second World War, that medium of film did work for science, for education, for all sorts of things. Today it is happening automatically through our films, rightly or wrongly. It is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wrongly, we should eliminate. Rightly, we should, what we get, we should really hold of it and develop it.
Yeah.
This is the thing that is right. All right, let us teach the kids around us what this is about.
Yeah.
That's what I do when I teach my kids in Girard, my Mali children, and all the rest of the kids that come around.
Yeah.
I tell them how to wash their hands and how they wash their faces and to keep their nails clean and not to touch the food without washing their, etc., etc. Very minor things which had never entered their life at all.
Yeah.
That is through films.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear radio programs. I hear the way today the science projects, tiny little things have been given to the kids through educating little interesting incidents.
Yeah.
A kid cuts his hand and sucks his blood and he finds it salty. He says, oh, we've got salt in our body. You see, this is the sort of thing which I think is a great, tremendous boon that sound and films and radios and cinemas have given.
Yeah. Yeah.
There will be, I'm sure, because the whole attitude has changed now. People are thinking as to what to contribute.
Yeah.
Of course, to receive. Everybody wants to receive.
Yeah.
But they are also now aware of the fact that they have to contribute.
Yes.
Through good people, good characters, good working. Maybe distorted characters do come, I don't deny that.
Yeah.
But that there is also that side of life,
Yeah.
which can be put in a way that it can be avoided.
Yeah. Now, before we come to an end, perhaps you would like to just recollect briefly who are the people you would say contributed to your long innings in the cinema?
Well, of course, Prabhat tops.
Yes.
The basis has been so strong that I am on my 2 feet to this day.
Yeah.
The other people, I mean, personally, there was, of course, Shantana Bapu, there was all the art director who said, you know, this part of your face is not nice, don't put this here, take care of your ears, showing too much, close it up, etc. Giving me an aesthetic point of view.
Yeah.
Clothes. Narayan Rao Balgandhar.
Yeah.
Your sari should be like this, your this should be. He never said it,
Yeah.
but we saw it.
Yeah.
And Narayan Rao was a sort of an instructor.
Yeah.
You might say the designer of sari wearing in the 9-yard way or any other way.
Yeah.
Even Vasant Sena or even Saushya Kallo Revati was not dressed as though she should not be seen like that,
Yeah.
aesthetically and otherwise. So he gave an aesthetic idea of things to the women of that time.
Yeah.
People who came from very high society, he copied their saris, their way, looking at them, just observing them, not copying them. And he handed that feeling, that knowledge to the middle class people, and you find that class of people of wearing 9-yard sari most picturesquely. Ravi Verma's films, pictures that he copied, really in wearing saris and in movements. So these are two, of course, D.K. Bose from Calcutta gave me another type of education in acting. How to control your voice, how to emote emotions, not in a loud way, but controlled way. Also in silent expressions. Also in not shouting your dialogues out. Power comes even in undertoning and overtoning.
Yeah.
So these are all the things that quite a number of people in the industry have contributed to my life, and a lot of happiness has been given to me through films.
Now, the really, really final question, and that is your happiness in cinema. You have a very, when people look at it, almost a puzzling setup of your third generation, of your grandchildren, which I think have all the nations combined together and all the religions combined together. So perhaps you would like to mention it so that people of the next generation would feel that here was a lady who came from Goa and now has got a family which spreads the world over. So, a few words about your grandchildren.
Well, I have really adorable grandchildren and now a great grandson. And I've got them from all nationalities. We had Bakul, begin with me. My second husband was a Muslim,
Yeah.
whom I divorced. Then I had Farooq coming into my life,
Yeah.
a Parsi, your husband, after my son's death.
Yeah.
Then Tina is a Christian. She came into Bakul's life and contributed her share to my life.
And she's a Polish Canadian.
And she's a Polish girl brought up in Europe, lived in France, settled in Canada, and come with all the traditions down here. So all these combinations have come into my family, inside my life.
Yeah.
And they're all part of my heart. I love them all, and may God bless them all.
Thanks a lot, Bai. It's really been really, really good for me individually, and I'm sure for the generation who are going to listen to you, and I'm sure one of them would perhaps be your great grandson or granddaughter and say, my God, our gran was quite a woman. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Namaste.
Very much.
Namaste.